will go out and do everything just for blood, and that will satisfy me.
3 years for attempted murder and 4 years for assault.
Manenberg, a Cape Town community feared for its notorious gangs and violence. Illegal firearms, drugs and alcohol litter most street corners. Many children growing up here turn to gangsterism for a sense of belonging, a large majority by the age of 18.
Well, I remember I was 18 years old when I first joined the gang, and the name of the gang I first joined was the Naughty Boys.
And I belonged to the hard-living gangs at the time.
This is a story of belonging, false hope, failed promises, and a life on the run.
Joining a gang is, as I said, you find a sense of belonging. You have people and friends that's looking out for you.
At the end of the day, you have two roads that you have to choose. You rather choose prison, or you can lose your life while you're in the gang.
Once a gang member, you become part of a new family. And while the young boys roam the streets, mothers stay locked behind closed doors, wondering when or if their sons will ever come home.
When Quentin joined the gang, I felt very hurt. My house wasn't the same, my husband wasn't the same. We got hurt because if you hear they shoot outside, you must just pray and ask Jesus to help you, because you don't know if your child is lying in the street. There were many, many nights when he never came home. Me and my husband was lying awake, and we didn't have peace in our hearts because we don't know if he's dead.
Gangs govern the street by day and stalk the alleys by night. Graffiti marks their territory, while tattoos mark their bodies.
Tattoo is a sign of your commitment to the gang. When I first joined the gangs, the first tattoo I put on was on my shoulder.
And I saw how they did it with a needle and a zombie, and how they prick the needles into their arms. And at the end of the day, you are scared because you don't know what type of blood is running to that person. You don't know what type of infections he has.
Every piece of graffiti or tattoo symbolizes a different gang, from the hard livings to the Americans, the jesters and the clever kids.
I really hated the hard livings.
I hated the jesters because my friend that is dead today, Walida Pipis, they shot him. That at the end of the day, it cost you to go back into that territory, to take back his blood that has been lost into our streets.
Many youngsters join these gangs, knowing that the cost may be their own lives.
Well, I have killed 2 people, but that was actually many years ago. But that was on the train when I was in a tight corner, so I was forced to also use my knife at that time to defend myself, to get out of it tight. But I also had friends with me at that time, and to survive, brother. That's the only way of survival, is to stab your way through, to get out of the train. And at the end of the day, these guys lost their lives in the process.
The range that guy shot me, I should have died because he was about 3 meters away from me. He shot me in my leg, first of all. And when I turned, he shot me in my shoulder blade, into my spinal cord. Now, when you shoot someone at that close range, and that person was using drugs and alcohol, his body was, messed up. That bullet should have gone right through my spinal cord, but it didn't.
Death is no stranger to the streets of Manenberg, and large doses of drugs help to numb the pain.
Their faces come like it's in your subconscious mind. When you want to go sleep, then that thing comes to the fore, it comes up in your mind. It's like a film playing in your mind, what has happened when the guy pleads not to kill me, and yet you still go ahead. That's why a lot of our young people, when they do things like that, that's why a lot of them are ensnared in drugs, a lot of them are ensnared in alcohol, because they're trying to suppress those things, and it's difficult for them to cope with these things. The new drug that's on the market, which is called the unga, which is called the tik, that is the next fear we're facing in our communities. Because of poverty, people cannot eat. It's easier to buy the drug than to have a plate of food on their table.
To this very day, violence and drugs cast a long shadow on the streets of Manenberg. But this dark shadow is beginning to fade as stories of redemption, newfound hope, and a promise of new life become a reality on these once violent streets.
You go into a gang, signing up for better or for worse, for life or death. when you get out of the gang, you rather get killed by other gang, or you get saved by Jesus Christ. That's the only way out.
My wife told me about the Hawk that has changed. I said, but the Hawk, that wasn't a plek. That was a place where people used to drink alcohol, where we had discos going on at the back. How can that place be transformed? And my wife challenged me, come just go one night to me to the service. You know what, and that's the time when I stood up and the Lord has met me to the very point of my need. I gave my heart and life to the Lord on that specific day.
If you become a Christian, the gangs will keep a close eye on you to see if your faith are real. You see? So they will watch you for a time and a season. And if they see, no, you are honestly, truly holding on to your faith, then they will respect you and they will leave you alone. But when you are two-faced, and they will kill you. Now that I gave my life to the Lord, I can look to the future and say, this is what I'm reaching for. I'm reaching for that, and I have a goal. Now Maneneberg is a still place. It's being transformed by the grace of God. There's no more gang violence.
Transformation in Maneneberg is busy developing. It's like a snowball effect. It's beginning like a small snowball. And I believe when a snowball is so big that people will come from all corners of the earth to come see what God is doing in Maneneberg. Maneneberg is going to be a place where people will sleep with open doors. Maneneberg will be a place of restoration, restitution, and will be a place of reconciliation to bring people back to the basics of God. And that is what's going to happen in Maneneberg. God is busy developing His people for a time and a purpose such as this. Transformation is going to come from this place. The next doctors, lawyers, and presidential is going to come from this place. Even it's not going to be in my time, even if I don't see it. But God is going to bring that into reality because I know God is doing a new thing in Manenberg.